The top stories: Ethiopia and Egypt discuss means to overcome stalemate in GERD negotiations. And Russian officials said Ethiopia's proposal to join BRICS is a positive step to boost its economic potential. Hello and thank you for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Stay with us. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the president of the Arab Republic of Egypt, received Prime Minister of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, and resumed discussions. The two leaders reiterated their mutual political will to enhance the bilateral relations between their two countries, politically, economically, and culturally, based on the common desire to achieve their mutual interests and the prosperity of the two brotherly people, which will also actively contribute to the stability, peace, and security of the region and their mutual ability to deal with common challenges. The two leaders discussed means to overcome the current stalemate in the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam GERD negotiations. In this regard, they agreed to initiate expedited negotiations to finalize the agreement between Egypt, Ethiopia, and the Sudan on the filling of the GERD and the rules of its operations. They will do all the necessary efforts to finalize it in 4 months. During the period of these negotiations, Ethiopia has indicated its commitment during the filling of the GERD within the hydrological year of 2023-24 not to cause significant harm to Egypt and Sudan in a manner that provides the water need of both countries. This is according to the Office of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. President Sahle-Work Zewde called on women to cooperate by standing together for their common causes. The president also said that women coming to power should not be just to supplement numbers. Sahle-Work said this while she opened a training of female members of parliament. The president also added that similar trainings of capacity building are necessary to serve the society. The training is jointly organized by the Federal President's Office, the House of Representatives, and UN Women. The 6-day training will cover issues such as gender and leadership, self-empowerment, conflict resolution, peace and security, and institutionalization. The 43rd Ordinary Session of the Executive Council Session of the African Union AU kicked off in Nairobi, Kenya. A high-level delegation led by Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of Ethiopia, Demeke Mekonnen, is attending the meeting. In his opening remarks, Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs of Kenya, Dr. Alfred Mutua, said Africa is rich in diverse resources in spite of its underdevelopment. He called on African countries to remove the restrictions on the free movement of people and goods across the continent to speed up integration. Kenya is ready to progressively abolish visa requirements for fellow Africans, the Cabinet Secretary added. Listen to him.
But for us to really enjoy the true economic benefits of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, we need to behave like the Europeans and allow for the free movement of people and trade. Our development agencies, such as the African Union Development Agency and others, cannot really succeed when there are all these restrictions among ourselves. To this end, in our contribution to this continental aspiration, Kenya is committed to progressively, and we are moving very fast by the end of this year, to abolish visas to citizens from African Union member states to make it easier to invest and do business in Kenya and across the continent. We are going to open the borders of Kenya. We do not fear our fellow Africans. Come, travel to Kenya. Live, do business in Kenya. Trade, make money in Kenya. And we hope we'll get reciprocity with the rest of you. Let us open our continent.
The Foreign Minister of Comoros and the current chairman of the Executive Council, Doirir Dul Kamal, on his part, stressed the full implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area is paramount to the economic integration of Africa. In a related development, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demek Amakonnen held discussions with Foreign Minister of Somalia, Abshir Omar Jama, on bilateral, regional and multilateral issues of mutual interest. The two sides held a discussion on the sidelines of the 43rd Ordinary Session of the Executive Council of the African Union that is underway in Nairobi, Kenya. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the two officials have also exchanged views on current issues in their respective countries. They concluded their meeting by renewing the commitments of respective governments to further consolidate the long-standing relations between the brotherly people, it was indicated.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Burr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
Welcome back. A member of the Russian Federation Council Committee on Economic Policy says Ethiopia's bid to join the BRICS nations is a positive step towards the right direction. Igor Morozov, who is also the chair of AFROCOM, also sees a huge potential for economic cooperation between Russia and Africa. ETV has caught up with him while in Addis ahead of the upcoming second Russia-Africa summit to be held in St. Petersburg on July 27th to 28th. Goshu Melissa has the following account.
The AFROCOM, which is the coordinated committee for economic cooperation with African countries, carries out its activities with the active support of the Federation Council of the Federal Assembly and government institutions of Russia. Igor Morozov heads this organization that aims to facilitate Russian companies' access to African markets. He increasingly present on the continent, making regular trips and waging an aggressive commercial diplomacy there. He has come to Addis Ababa, the political capital of Africa, ahead of the upcoming second Russia-Africa summit due to be held in St. Petersburg on July 27 and 28. He sees a huge potential for the business cooperation between Africa and Russia.
I would describe it as a huge potential for the development of the economy of both countries between Russia and Africa. The foundation for everything is technology and knowledge transfer from the Russian Federation to Africa.
It is recalled that Ethiopia has called on to be a member of the BRICS. He says Ethiopian to join the BRICS is the right step as it would have multiple benefits for the East African nation.
We're really pleased and we're happy for the people of Ethiopia because BRICS in the future is going to be an alliance that will include its own financial transaction system, its own currency, and we think that it's going to be one of the pillars for the future development of the world in general.
BRICS, originally named BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, is an acronym for the world economies of Brazil, Russia, and China, which in 2010 had included the letter S for South Africa.
UNISA, the University of South Africa, contributed over 1,100 books to the Abrahot Library. Speaking at the event, Executive Director at UNISA University of South Africa, Ethiopia Regional Learning Center, Tennyson Mgutshini, says books available in Abrahot Library provide public access to everyone to engage in reading. Shagao Yamato has the detail.
The four-storied Abrahot Library, which is equipped with 1.5-kilometer-long shelves capable of holding 1.4 million books, is the biggest public library in Ethiopia and East Africa. Located in front of the Parliament Hall at Arat Kilo, the library could accommodate more than 2,000 users at a time. Realizing the significance of books to unlock the immense potential of Ethiopians, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed initiated and inaugurated the project in January 2022. Since then, books are being donated by different bodies and institutions, among others. On Thursday, UNISA, University of South Africa, Ethiopia Regional Learning Center, contributed over 1,100 books to Abrahot Library. During the handover occasion, Executive Director for the College of Graduate Studies at the University of South Africa says libraries like Abrahot provide public access to everyone to engage in reading.
We take a very, very serious position on ensuring that we commit to spreading out the power of knowledge to all entities. And because of that, we are privileged to make a contribution of books to Abrahot Public Library. And of course, this library is a seminal library in our opinion because it provides public access.
The executive director also indicated that different books are presented to the library so that everyone can broaden their mind based on their needs.
The 1,107 books that we offer today encompass a diverse range of genres, catering to readers of all ages and interests. Within these pages, you will find classics that have withstood the test of time. You will find educational resources that will enlighten and inspire, and you will also find contemporary works that reflect the ever-evolving world that we live in.
Highlighting the significance of education to foster literacy, he indicated that education is not limited to only classrooms, but it is also accessible to public places.
At UNISA, we firmly believe that education is not confined to the walls of classrooms alone. Education is a right that should be accessible to all, regardless of material access or levels of deprivation, regardless of people's age, regardless of their background or circumstance. It is through the pages of books that knowledge is shared, ideas are explored, and horizons are expanded.
He also expressed his hope that other universities will follow suit, taking UNISA's act as an exemplary.
We believe that education, access to information, represents a very powerful form of empowerment for every population. We hope that this action that we've done will also inspire other universities that have access to similar reading sources to be able to share with libraries. And in Ethiopia in particular, we believe that this newly opened library would benefit from an ongoing program where universities continue to donate their texts.
Uvai Yomano, director of Abrahot Library, commended UNISA for their contribution and expressed his commitment to work in unison with the South African University. Apart from books, Abrahot Library houses more than 300,000 local and 120,000 international research papers.
Welcome to the land of origins. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia is pleased to serve all your traveler banking needs. If you have money from any of these 16 countries, you can convert it to local currency by visiting our nearest branch. Alternatively, our secure Forex ATMs accept cash exchange, or if you prefer using your cards, we've partnered with Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay so that you can withdraw cash from our local ATMs or make cashless transactions at thousands of local POS partners securely and with confidence. We are linked with more than 700 global banks through our direct SWIFT address, CBE Teta. We also work with 16 international money transfer agents, out of which Tune and World Remit enable you to make direct deposits into our savings and current accounts or our popular CBE Birr mobile wallet. Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, the bank you can always rely on.
So for those of you who feel they need something to give strength to their relationship and love, this is also got into the Fish River Canyon. As you can see, we have a couple of love locks here on the chains that take you down the hiking path. On this episode of Across All Borders Going South, it's all about the long road south. A trip to Fish River Canyon, Namibia. The world's second largest canyon. If you put in Google Map Windhoek to Hobus Camp, which is one of the lodges close to the Fish River Canyon, you will see immediately that it is about 644 kilometers, or if you started from Luderitz, it's 419 kilometers to the Hobus Camp. The Fish River Canyon is the second largest canyon in the world after the Grand Canyon. It commences at Seeheim at the lowest course of the river. The canyon is 161 kilometers long, 27 kilometers wide, and up to 550 meters deep. About the campsite or the Hobus accommodation and campsite offers different types of stays. So you've got lodges, and they've even got a pool for the rooms, and you've got the campsite.
And finally, a UN official says the conflict in Sudan is, quote, on the verge of turning into civil war. The head of the UN mission in Sudan, Volker Perthes, says the Sudan conflict could turn into an ethnic and tribal civil war as warring sides step up efforts to recruit fighters. Here is more from Africa News.
Sudan's warring sides must face accountability for the crimes committed in their conflict, which risks spiraling into regional crisis, the head of UN mission in the country said. The fighting, which has gone on for 3 months, risks morphing into an ethnic, tribal and ideological conflict, which is much closer to being a full-blown civil war, the official said.
Both parties cannot, or so it seems, win militarily with what they have in terms of manpower. So both parties have been recruiting beyond their own formations on an ethnic basis, a tribal basis, or even an ideological basis. So here we are at the verge of this war between two military formations morphing into an ethnicized and tribalized civil war.
The neighboring countries that are directly or indirectly affected by the war in Sudan are meeting in Cairo, Egypt, to find a solution that can end the war in the country.
With the recent meeting in Cairo, the aim here is to get all the neighbors of Sudan together, and that is something we have actually been asking for as United Nations, and which is important because all neighbors are impacted by the war. They have different concerns, different interests. So it's very important to have a conversation between these neighbors, whether one could get a unified stance, a unified position on stopping that war, on ending this war, despite the different concerns and the different interests.
The conflict has resulted almost 3,000 deaths and 3 million displaced persons and refugees.
You're watching Addis News Hour. Here's a quick reminder of the stories making headlines. Ethiopia and Egypt discuss means to overcome stalemate in GERD negotiations. And Russian officials said Ethiopia's proposal to join BRICS is a positive step to boost its economic potential. That's all we had for now. I'm Tabitha John. Many thanks for watching. Have a good night.